next segment. Jennifer, we're going to go ahead and just dive right into COVID-5 fast facts because we got to move fast.
Yes.
Because we still have a huge insurrection update to go, and I don't know how 53 minutes has already gone by. And with that, I'm going to just jump into it.
Okay.
A rural county in Georgia had their COVID vaccination clinic shut down with no warning by the state. They were vaccinating teachers and school officials to support the reopening of their school district. The county was vaccinating the staff out of turn based on the guidelines that were set up by the state of Georgia. And that resulted in the state moving in, confiscating all doses of the vaccine and shutting down the clinic. The clinic was just given a small supply for doses to support several hundred people who would already have had their first doses in the clinic. They will not get any more doses for 6 months. And caught in this mess includes those in those key populations which were supposed to get vaccinated, who have since had their appointments canceled.
What a mess. What is going on down there? The whole vaccine rollouts, in its entirety has been a hot mess based on the actions, or inaction effectively of the previous administration. But yeah, this is not pretty. I think we're going to continue to see stuff like this. We're going to continue to see ongoing resistance to vaccination, particularly in rural areas. This is just not a good thing.
No, it's not. And one of the things that I feel about people are already not trusting the government on this. People are already not trusting the vaccine. How does this action, wrapped in the warm, fuzzy blanket of, hi, I'm the government, I'm here to help you, because that's basically the warm blanket they've wrapped themselves in. I'm sorry. I don't mean to startle you. Blind pug moment there. He's just like, I saw the hand. I got it. It's all right, man. Anyway, Jennifer, you can take us to story number 2.
Bizarre decision to own the libs. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds issued an emergency order ending all mask-wearing requirements and allowing bars and restaurants to open at full capacity. The order takes effect on Sunday, just in time for the Super Bowl. Iowa, which was off to a great start during the initial COVID outbreak, is 47th in the country for vaccinations and has had over 5,000 deaths. Go Iowa!
So in other words, they got more deaths in the state of Washington. And who was first across the finish line or the first across the starting line for all this? Oh, that's right, we were.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that are scratching their heads over this decision, including people in Iowa and the timing around it.
Yeah, and it all boils down to capitalism and money and the economy is what it is.
Well, and Kim Reynolds was a huge Trump supporter.
Yes.
So
yeah,
gotta own those libs.
That's right.
All right, I'm going to go to the next story here. This is a challenge holding a pug, by the way, everybody. The Supreme Court has remained consistent in their rulings on religious services and COVID, finding against the state of California and their ban on indoor church services for areas in the state's purple zones. Purple! I like purple zones. We're in a purple zone. The ruling allows indoor services, however, at only 25% capacity and with no singing or chanting allowed. Church officials were trying to get the full ban lifted to allow singing, chanting, and to go to 100% capacity. This is mirrored, Jennifer, other Supreme Court decisions on identical cases that have voted along the 6-3 line.
Yeah. Man, churches crack me up because they just think they ought to be exempt from any kind of regulation, regardless. I'm going to save my religious commentary here. But yeah, I don't know. I think California is one of those places where they're really, really suffering right now. I mean, funeral homes are beyond capacity. They don't know how to really kind of deal or grapple with what's going on. And this just, even at 25% seems like a poor choice.
And you can go ahead and do our next story.
Worship via Zoom. God will still love you. If Washington State is a good example of how to fight COVID, it sure hasn't been a good example on how to roll out the vaccine. Facebook groups are popping up filled with confusing anger and disappointment in trying to book appointments for the vaccine. It isn't all the fault of Washington, as vaccine shortages still plague the nation, but among the barriers being faced is requirements to sign up online and provide personal identifiable information, such as the front and back of a driver's license. Steps that are confusing at best for the first recipients, which are mostly elderly and many who lack the technology to complete the task. Others have complained that by the time they complete the required steps to prove their need, the slot has disappeared on them. And this goes back to the story that we talked about in our Malcontent Minutes is, get more people like this student who are helping senior citizens sign up for these very important vaccinations. So yeah.
Do better, Washington. That's all I could say. Do better. If you vote in the poll, it's a story we can dive into a little bit more. I know we've kind of touched on it twice tonight, but two different angles. But please vote in the poll and let us know what story you want us to go deeper on. All right, we got our last piece in our COVID Fast Five. Multiple experts and officials are deeply concerned that Super Bowl Sunday will turn into Super Spreader Sunday, Iowa. There have been multiple appeals for people to forget the party and the bars, especially with the South African and UK variants identified in the United States and in community spread on both coasts. The South African variant is of particular concern as it seems to target younger victims with worse symptoms. The country is just starting to get a handle on the current surge, with hospitalizations and new cases continuing to drop. There's no need for celebration, however, because at our current pace of vaccination, Jennifer, we'll have herd immunity in 7 years.
Maybe. I mean, that's if people still, I feel like we're just going to get stuck in this cycle because people don't want to wear masks, and you have people like the governor of Iowa are like, screw it, just forgo all of that stuff. And we're just going to keep continuing to have the resistance to the vaccine, weird government intervention, the poor rollout, the requirements to get a vaccine. It's a hot mess. That's the only way to describe it.
And just a reminder, April 20th, we're going to hold Joe Biden's feet to the fire.
Yep.
April 20th, Papa Joe, we're going to hold you accountable on that promise.